Hello again YouTube, Mad Dog here. Welcome back to my channel. So I thought I'd do a quick versus video this time, and I'm going to be comparing the SAK Swiss Army knife by Victorinox with the Outdoors Calling, and this is the Wilderness multi-tool. So stay tuned and we'll have a look round. So what I'm going to be doing on this video is I'm going to try and do an equal fair comparison between these two multi-tools, and the categories that I'm going to be comparing by are obviously cutting, to include feather sticks, notching, you know, for traps, that type of thing, cutting cordage, sawing. They've both got a saw, so the ability to cut through wood. Tools, as in the quality of the tools, are they actually usable and how do they perform? Will they stand up to a longevity of life? Firelighting, both of these multi-tools have a form of firelighting, so I'm going to be comparing that as well, and I'm going to be doing a wash-up session at the end, which is basically around value for money, build quality and what they like to live with. So stay tuned, and the new kid on the block will be the first up, and we'll take a closer look at this multi-tool. Stay with me. So first up is this, and that's the Outdoors Calling. That's the brand, Outdoors Calling. It comes in this nice presentation box, so let's crack it open and have a look. This is what you get inside, nicely presented. I got this from a company called Hurn and Hurn over here in the UK, and just quickly on a price point, the SAK, I believe this was the camper or the trekker model, something like that, that I'm going to be comparing this multi-tool to. The price point very similar, give or take pence, so bear that in mind. So we take this multi-tool out of its packaging, and its design is quite nice, quite simple but quite striking. I do like that sort of speckled camouflage-ish type of design. Gentleman's hardware, and like I say, this is the Wilderness multi-tool. There are around 6 different versions of these multi-tools on the website, from a handyman version to include pliers, hammers, etc., even as an attachment, through to basic utility knives and tools. And I thought, with me being into the outdoors, as in camping, bushcraft you might say, that type of thing, this is the one that was most suited for my needs, primarily because it has obviously a blade and a wood saw. They're my two most important requirements in a multi-tool. So just quickly looking around this thing and the attachments, it has a can opener stroke bottle opener. It has a blade which is approximately 2 inches in length. It does come out the box quite sharp. You know, it's good enough for what it is. They're all non-locking as per Swiss Army knife design. It has a wood saw, which is quite nice and aggressive. As you can see, I have been using it, which is nice. It also has a divot there, I don't know if this will pick up, which is also a striker for a ferrocerium rod, which I'll come back to in a moment. It has a flat design posi-drive screwdriver, which we'll see later on how that performs. It also has a small flat bladed screwdriver attachment there, very small. We'll see. I'll just fold these down for a moment, and then on the back we have a small lever which is used to pry up the corkscrew, the bottle opener corkscrew there. And this for me is its party piece, is this attachment here, which is a ferrocerium rod. Now I'll compare this ferrocerium rod to the one which I've sort of homemade version on my SAK, which Swiss Army Knife do sell a version of this very similar in design and length, which is the Firefly, which is designed to replace the toothpick on your SAK, your Swiss Army Knife. We'll compare that later on for firelighting, but straight away, as you can see, that's much more substantial, easier to hold, and it does look more durable. So we'll see how we get on with that, but I do like that from the offset. So that's a quick look round the new kid on the block, as it were. Now, just on a footnote, whether it matters or not is yet to be seen, but this thing is actually, I believe, is made in China. Let me just have a quick check here. I'm sure it was made in China, although it's distributed from New York, USA. If it is made in the USA, massive apologies, but I do believe it is made in China, but we'll see. So, to the categories, I'm going to go outside now and give each one of these a small test in each category, which, like I've said, is cutting, sawing, the use of the tools, firelighting, and at the end a wash up session. So first up is cutting, so we're going to go outside now and show it some tasks. Stay tuned. Okay, first up, a few simple cutting tasks, and this is obviously the Outdoors Calling Wilderness multi-tool. So I'll take the knife, and what I'm going to do is three cutting exercises, some reasonable cordage, some notching, and some basic feather sticking. Let's see how we get on. We'll start with the feather sticking. And I can say from the offset, this is quite sharp, albeit a small blade. It's getting the job done, as you can see hopefully here. Yeah, it's quite nice. Get some nice fine curly whirlies off that. Okay, next up, let's do some notching and cutting cordage. So as you can see here, we've got some, some reasonable cordage. So I'm just going to cut through this standard sort of thing that you would do in a bushcraft stroke camping environment. So I'm just going to make a loop. Yeah, it is cut through. It is, as you can see, it isn't the cleanest of cuts really. It is what it is. It's got the job done. Let's go again. He's got it done. So yes, it will cut cordage. Okay, let's do some notching. So if you want to make a trap, we need to make a notch. So this is some good cured hardwood, and I'm going to chaw right up to this, just to do a simple, number 7 notch, which is basically a miniature feather stick, let's be honest. Just cutting in there, and then back cutting, being careful not to cut your fingers. Dress it up. Yep, it's got a simple number 7 notch done. No problem. Okay, onto a little bit of sawing. So we'll close the blade down and open the saw. Nice aggressive saw on this. And for this experiment, you can see there, that's where I've done the notch. I keep that to one side. because I'm going to do the same on the SAK. So let's show it some wood, and will it get the job done? Just pan you down here a little ways. Okay, next up is fire lighting. So I've got the knife exposed and a little piece of fat wood here, and we're just going to do some basic scrapings here, nothing flash or fancy. Nice and fine. So fire lighting, we're taking the ferrocerium rod out of the back of the knife, the multi-tool. It is quite substantial, this one is, for what it is. It's brand new, as you can see, so I'm yet to scrape off the black protective coating with the striker provided on the saw. And straight away it's throwing some good sparks, so we'll try that in the fat wood and see what happens. Okay, we nearly had it then. Let's go again. It's not very comfortable to do that. Let's try the back of the saw, which gives you more throw. Nearly. There we go. So although it is a struggle, I'm not going to lie, and this is with fat wood, which, as we all know, should go up straight away. It is a struggle, I'm not going to lie. So it does get the job done, but it isn't easy. But that's fire lighting with this multi-tool. Okay, next up is the tool attachment. So just for a quick demonstration, the little posi drive screwdriver, and I'm going to be using just an inch or so wood screw, and let's see how it performs. No pilot drilling or anything, just screw it straight in. Yep, it's getting the job done. Reasonable. The actual head on this screwdriver is a bit too thin for my liking. For me, that'd definitely be a win on the SAK over this multi-tool, but we'll see. So it does work, gets the job done. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly do those tests again using the SAK now. I'm just going to run through it because we're all pretty familiar with how these little fellas perform, but to be a fair and equal comparison, I'm going to do exactly the same tests again. So first up, fire lighting. So again, I'm just going to prepare a bit of fat wood, and straight away I can notice that the blade, albeit a well used blade on my Swiss Army knife, it has retained and definitely has a sharper edge than the other multi-tool that was new straight out of the box. Okay, let's take out the ferro rod, the little firefly. This is a homemade version, so again, not expecting miracles really. So let's see if we can't get this little bundle lit up. As you can see, it's not easy, it is quite fiddly with it being so small and thin, and there is obviously an element of the fact that I could easily snap this, so not ideal. But we do get the job done in the end. For me, you know, something's always better than nothing, but I would prefer a more substantial ferro rod than this. Okay, back to doing a little bit of sawing with the SAK using the same piece of wood. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, no problem at all. Great little saw that. And on to some notch cutting and cordage cutting. So using the same piece of wood, just a simple number 7 notch again with the SAK. You know, you use this sort of notch for pot hangers, trap making, etc. Common thing to do in bushcraft or camping. Yeah, there's not a problem here. Easy enough. So straight away a nice number 7 notch, no problem. Same piece of cordage. Again, not an issue, as to be expected. Nice, and probably a cleaner cut than with the other multi-tool. And last but not least, we'll go into a bit of feather sticking. As you can see, the same piece of wood again. Nice, easy. And with the handle being just a little bit thicker, I seem to be able to get a nicer purchase on this. And lastly, the tools. And whilst this Swiss Army knife hasn't got a posi drive screwdriver, I may get away with the small flat bladed screwdriver. Let's see. I'm not going to use the same hole. I know this isn't ideal, but if this is all you got, then that's what you will definitely use. And it is getting the job done. So yeah, that's a win. And the overall fit and finish of the tool attachments, in my opinion, are better. Okay, some final thoughts and opinions on these two multi-tools. First up, cutting. The cutting capabilities. whilst my SAK is a couple of years old or more, and it is well used, this one is, this is my EDC carry, the edge, the sharpness of the edge and the feeling of durability, I would say, is a win for the SAK over the Wilderness tool. I dare say with some stropping and some intervention you could bring a real nice razor sharp edge onto this, but I'm talking out of the box with no work being done. For me, win for the SAK. So sawing was the next little mission, and again I'm afraid the SAK wins for me, as it is more smooth to operate. It takes off just as much material per stroke, but it feels to be a more smooth, less biting in, tendency to bite in action than the Gentleman's Hardware Wilderness multi-tool. However, that being said, this is still very adequate, very usable, and wouldn't bother me to take this in my pocket as my EDC. So I'll still give the win to the SAK. Firelighting. Now firelighting for me was definitely a win for the Wilderness multi-tool, having the more substantial ferro rod. However, if I was to design my own multi-tool EDC carry knife, this is just my opinion, if I had the capability to create this ferro rod which fits comfortably into the little tube retaining clip there at the back, for me, I would personally lose the corkscrew. I would get rid of that and have that entire length occupied with a full length substantial ferro rod, and maybe incorporate a detachable striker in there as well. That's just me, that's what I would choose to do. I would rather have a good reliable form of firelighting over a corkscrew any day on any of my tools, but that's just me. But for the actual test, as it were, the Wilderness multi-tool gets the win over the SAK. And bearing in mind also that the SAK ferrocerium rod, they have to be purchased as an additional attachment, and they're not cheap. I believe they're about £15 for 3. This one I made myself, but for what you actually get for your money, I'm afraid that's a win for this new multi-tool. So what else have we got? I've just got my list down here of things that we're going through. So tools and attachments. For me, again, the overall quality, fit and finish of the SAK is, in my opinion, better than the Wilderness tool. And on a price point, these both come in at around the £20 mark. So this, I guess it all boils down to personal preference at the end of the day, and trusting reputation. Now if you go on trusting reputation, then it has to be the Victorinox as a win, purely because of its history. It's well tried and tested, so it has that background reputation which should give you confidence when buying, whereas this, for my knowledge, is a relatively newcomer, relatively unknown. And what I intend to do is EDC this for at least a year. I'm swapping it out from a SAK, and this is going to be having a rest in the shed for a few months, if not a year. I'm going to EDC this little fella, and in a year's time, if I'm still here, I'll probably do a revisit and let you know how I've got on after using this for over a year. So what else have we got? Build quality, I think we've pretty much covered. That's a win for the SAK. Honestly, there isn't much between them when it comes to cutting, sawing. As you saw, I made a complete hash of the feather sticks. I'm using both of these. Poor wood selection and rushing it on my part. I mean, you should be able to get some nice fine curly wheelies, not basically splinters of wood, which I did there. Poor demonstration by me, but you know, it's to get a file it, let's be honest, so it doesn't have to be pretty really, as long as it works and is effective. Overall then, in closing, the SAK takes it, but if you choose to buy something different, you want to break from the norm, I wouldn't dismiss this brand of multi-tool. Nice, it is a nice thing, and it's nice to have something that's different, you know, break the same old up, why not? And would make an ideal gift for somebody, as it does come in this nicely presented box. So that's my little overview of the Versus. So hope you find some of this useful, if not entertaining, and until the next time, I thank you all very much for your views, for your continued support. Take care out there, whatever you're all doing, and I'll speak to you all soon. Mad Dog signing off. Yeah!